Coach Fitch,
Yes, sir.
almost a week of practice in the books. How you thinking so far?
Well, I think if you go back from day 1 to day 4, the retention, I'm sure Coach Holtz has talked about that earlier, the retention's really, really good. Probably the most amazing thing to me was our 3s and 4s, are picking it up, and there's obviously maybe a experience deficit or a talent deficit at some of those positions. But it's interesting, we're running 2-minute drills with 3s today, and they go right down the field and have some consistencies to them. So I think we still have to learn ball protection. We're a little sloppy with the ball, I think, whether it be the way we carry it, a couple of the throws we don't want to have. That's something we've got to do a better job with as we reviewed last year. But overall, it's been a positive 4 days, and now as the defense gets a little more complex, they'll start moving and start pressuring us probably here in a couple days. We'll have to get our feet on the ground there, but been very pleased.
Are there certain areas that you're seeing anything besides the retention there? You're saying, wow, those guys are really...
Well, I don't know if there's one area that steps out. Probably the guy that I've been quietly the most pleased with is Austin Ryder at center. That was an area not of concern, but of nobody's played there. He had really no game reps that were significant. So getting the quarterback center exchange the first day in pads. Saturday we had 2 or 3 mishandled snaps. Today I don't think we had any, so that's an improvement. But that's probably the one guy that I'm watching the closest. And I've been pleasantly pleased with the way he's performed.
Talk about having a senior under center. Does that class make a difference in the motivation and the vocal leadership of BJ?
Well, I think as much as being a senior is he's grown since we've been here. Year 1, year 2, there was significant growth. He's a lot more comfortable with what he's supposed to do now. I think where he has grown some is game management. Last year he made very few dumb decisions throwing the ball. Most of his boneheaded things you would say were probably in the run game with ball security, which is growth. Probably after today, the thing he and I talked about is still don't predetermine where you're going to go. Like we're in a 3rd and 6 situation, I want to jam this thing in there because I know it's a 6-yard route. Hey, the defense may take it, just kind of relax your mind and go through the progression, and that will be the next evolution for him because mentally he knows what he's supposed to do, I think, for the most part. Now just not letting that gene in his makeup saying, I'm going to do this no matter what you do, still working on that.
Okay.
Todd, we talked to Terrence Mitchell last week about coming back and just being back after such a long time away. I just want to see what it's like as a coordinator, having the creativity to try and harness that speed and use it in the open field.
We moved him around. He played, a couple different spots on the outside for us. The first year he's here, and last year he's playing mostly on the outside into the field in our Z position. We're looking at him in the slot this year. Move some people around, move some, just looking at the parts as you said, trying to find the right spots for everybody. And I think we found him a home. He had a great day today. Caught everything in team action, made some diving catches. I think he's a mismatch in there with the speed. Obviously, it's a way we can, like we do with Lindsey in the slot too. We've gotten the ball in the hand sweeps, the screen game. Plus, he's probably a little bit more of an advanced route runner than some of the other slot guys we've had in the past. So I think we may have found a home for him there, and it's been fun to see. He's such a great competitor, and he's fearless. I mean, obviously with the concussion he had last year, everybody knows he's fearless. So if he's healthy and he's a part of the group, he makes us a much more dynamic offense.
And you still see that fearlessness? It's not something that was lost in coming back from the
Yeah, I mean, now we've been in pads 2 days, and it hasn't been a full speed scrimmage, but it's been physical, and I don't know if he has that, like I said with BJ, that gene. I don't know if he has that gene to slow down. It's who he is, and we certainly don't want him to lose it, but we got to be smart with him too and keep him healthy.
That was such a startling hit last year. What was your reaction and your?
It was, every once in a while in your coaching career, you see things and you kind of shudder. And we were in the box, obviously, and we could hear it in the box, and it was a little scary. I mean, it was scary, and you think of it, if it's your son. That's your reaction, and it's cliche-ish, but they are kind of your kids, you're around them so much, and so the concern for him was the first thing, but that's just who he is. He's going to play one speed, he's going to play 100 miles an hour, and it's kind of hard when you're a $137, so.
He says it's a little more than that.
Yeah, barely.
Last year, there's a lot of talk from the coaches about Chris Dunkley, who had the red shirt. What are you seeing at him for the first week of practice?
A guy that's been out for 2 years. He has natural talent. He'll make a play. Every day he's gotten better. From day 1 to day 4, probably quietly, he's a little deeper in the depth chart as he earns his way up the ladder, but he probably has made significant strides that nobody's noticed because day 1 he ran around, just kind of run around. Day 2 he was herky-jerky, and it took him 6 moves to go 6 yards. now I see a little bit of growth in him, and he's learning. You know, what he's learning is that you have to earn your keep. You have to earn your playing time, and he's as talented as the guy we have on the football team, but talent that isn't fitting within the system and doesn't do the right thing and won't play, and he's realizing that. But I think he'll probably grow if he continues to do what he's doing. He'll have a chance to grow probably more so than anybody because he's coming from ground zero for sure.
What do you think of the dynamic to that position? Seems like there's a lot of talent. You have a young coach with an NFL pedigree that may bring something different to the table. I mean, just the receiving core and the coaching as a whole.
You know, I think the group, I don't know if we have a great player, an NFL first or second rounder in the group, but we have a lot of good football players in the group, you know, and Deontay Welch is a heck of a football player. We talked about T-Rex coming back and what he brings, and Sterling's a really good player, a solid college football player. Dunkley has upside. Andre Davis has, you know, a go up and get it, you know, game, that kind of thing. So there's a blend of talents amongst other guys in that position, and I think Jerome has fit in well. The thing that has been great for him is when you come from his background, you know, it's not one of those guys that had a cup of coffee. You know, a lot of guys got into camp and got cut the first week and called, you know, themselves NFL background. There's a guy that did it for, you know, numerous years. So I think he has their attention, not in our scheme so much, but you know what, try this on this curl, you know, here's what I would tell you on this outcut. He has their ear right away, so that's been good. And Joe Sloan's helping in that position, who's been with us in this offense for a long time, is a great young coach. So those two together, with the background in the offense and the technique stuff that Jerome can come in right away and help those guys with, I think it's a good blend, and I think the position will continue to grow.
Talk about your role a little bit, switching with the quarterbacks, why you wanted to do it, how it kind of benefits you doing your overall big job.
Well, you know, I just think it was something that the communication, you know, when you're calling plays and understanding exactly what they know and what they feel, as you sit in that meeting room with them, and you know, as you're, you know, talking about a third down call or whatever all week long, and you get that gut feeling, you know, what he really gets it, or they really get it, or you know, it's not quite clear in their mind. You're a little bit more on the same page. You know, it's nothing to do with coaching. It was never about that. It was more about communication. It's gone well. The negative to it is you put so much time into quarterbacks that you don't see the big picture as much, but I don't feel quite as bad about that because now we're into year 3 of the offense where most of the people, Jerome was new, but you know, Joe is out there and he has a background in our offense. Everybody else kind of has a really good feel for what this offense is about. The one thing we've always done, even though I was with the backs, I talked to the quarterbacks a lot. You know, Coach Scott was working with our tight ends, but our H's, you know, Landy and those guys were in the backfield a lot last year. So the crossover and the teaching wasn't as dramatic for the existing members of the staff. So it's gone well. I think the players responded to it well, and you know, we just got to continue to get better.
Will you still be in the booth?
We haven't talked about it, you know, probably, you know, but we haven't gotten that far. Yeah, I'm just trying to get through practice 5.
Have you always been in the booth?
As a coordinator, yeah, I've been up there all the time. You know, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You mentioned BJ. How's
Coach?
the guys behind him coming along? His backups.
You know what? Good. Good. Today was a really good day. Bobby's gotten a little bit more accurate, a little bit crisper in his reads. Still working on him when he has to move his feet, ready to set his feet, throwing the ball accurately. And Matt is a guy that kind of went on the shelf last year as a redshirt guy, and just kind of, as they often do, is kind of say, well, I'll see you in the spring. And he's improved. He's throwing the ball much more fluidly. It's getting out of his hand. And I saw him run a 2-minute drill today all the way down. He had a miscommunication on the goal line there with the receiver, but took him right down the field, threw a touchdown in a 2-minute. And so I've been pleased by both their growth as this thing's going on. All right, guys.
Excellent.